Hi, it's about 10 years to the day that I released Design Thru Chaos on Adobe Photoshop on the PC. Now, with the release of Procreate 5.2 and its 3D capabilities, we have the opportunity to re-release it again for the next generation. Okay, first things first. Once you've purchased your files and downloaded them, place them in your Procreate directory. They're just like every other file, every other image you have, and when you click on them, the 3D image will open. In this first downloadable pack, which is the male body, includes high-res head, top half of the body, arms, legs, and also now a full body. In the future, we'll release different packs, which will be available to purchase, and occasionally we'll put up some free models and anything else we can find appropriate for tattooing. From time to time, we'll do some updates to the models. So things like textures, UVs, any changes, and as long as you're a registered user and you've purchased them and not stolen them, they'll be sent out to you free of charge, and we'll try to keep things up to date for as long as we can. The main aim when I released Design Thru Chaos originally was to help you create different tattoo ideas, thinking outside the box, and not just looking through a magazine and not just scrolling through Instagram, because all the ideas you're seeing there, you're just replicating. So Design Thru Chaos is a way for you to be inspired, just accidentally create some amazing designs, as well as showing clients the placement of tattoos that you've already done or planned out, and maybe explaining that if they do the tattoo a little bit bigger, it'll look better, and just generally show them some new ideas. Okay, you've downloaded your models and you've placed them in your Procreate folder. We're just going to click on them like you would any other file. And as you can see, you have a fully 3D object. A few things you need to know. The layers work exactly the same as they do an image. I've created an alpha, so when you go to the 2D side, it shows you the boundaries. I've locked the base layer and the alpha, so you don't damage them. If you do, just reinsert them. From there, you can create layers. I'm just going to delete them layers. You can create an image and do what you like, switch it on and off, like here's one I did earlier. Yeah. And you can still do all the things you did before on Procreate. So the first thing you're going to want to do is draw on the model. So if you select the first layer or any other new layer, as long as it's not the base layer or the alpha, any of your brushes will work straight away and you should be able to draw straight on the model, like so. Undo. So that's your safety zone. I would always draw on additional layers and not the original layers. There's a couple of different ways to use the models in Procreate. I'm going to show one example now of just taking an image that you've pre-designed and placing it on top of the model. So I'm going to open an image. This is something that's just been quickly knocked up in a Masergraph or something. Mandalas are popular, so it's a good example. I'm now going to hit the spanner. I'm going to copy the canvas, and then I'm going to open up whatever model I want to use. Now here, make sure you're on a separate layer. This layer here, or create a new layer. Then from there, paste the image in, and as you can see, it appears on the model. You can move the model around. You can also move the image around. Remember, it's a projection, so around a curved surface it may warp. Okay, so now you've inserted an image, and as you know, you can place it around the body, move it around any way you like. There is some restrictions to the models within Procreate. You will get some warping if it goes outside the boundaries. Remember, it's a projection, but there is a few ways around that which we can get to in a bit. So here's an example of placing an image. Now what you can also do is duplicate that image. Now I find with Procreate, if you just move it a little bit carefully, it won't warp, and then you could quite easily place it on the other side. and show your customer what it would look like on both arms. Also, what you can do, what I originally intended Design Thru Chaos to be used for, was to take a standard image, an idea. Let's duplicate that one again. And what I'm going to do this time is I'm just going to move him to the chest, for example. And you know, the customer might quite like that, but for me, that looks way better. And now you've got the opportunity to show your client what the tattoo would look like massively overblown. You can also start playing with it a little bit more, and that's, yeah, straight away I've just moved it up. I haven't done anything else, and it's give us a really cool idea. It's not a finished product, and it's never intended to be that. It's intended to be a way of creating and generating original ideas. So from there, just rub out the areas. And you can do it as neat as you like. I mean, it doesn't have to be neat, that's not the intention. It's more of an idea generator. And then you can go in and tidy things up and do whatever you need to do. But that there looks more impressive. So the customer wants a chest piece, and you've designed a tattoo. In this example, it's just a very quick mandala, and you place it on the chest like the customer originally requested. It's very hard to get a customer to do something new, because they tend to be looking at Instagram, looking at magazines, and they tend to get what their friends get. And unless they've already seen it, it's hard for them to visualize it. So now, very quickly, we can show the customer the placement of the tattoo and how it would look. Also, we can show them different ideas very, very quickly. So, for example, shoulder, we've done a quick prep on the chest and throat. Let's switch on the back. You know, the customer's got lots of different options which they wouldn't have been able to visualize if you hadn't been able to show them. So one of the things we can do with the models, and it was more how the original Design Thru Chaos worked, was applying it to a 2D texture. So if you look at the layers, I've created an alpha layer, and that's like a mask, just so it shows you the boundaries of the UVs. So if I go into a new layer, one of the things we can do, I go to this setting, I go to 3D, and I go show 2D texture. Now what that's done is it's flattened everything out, and the black bits are the boundaries where the UVs are. So that, for example, is the whole arm. From here, if I add in a photo of the client's arm, I think it's around about there. So say you were doing a cover up and you just wanted to muck around with ideas about what would work, what wouldn't, what you're going to place on it, and stuff like that. This now lets you get a half decent visualization of what it would look like. So let's have a look. So as I mentioned before, there's a lot of trial and error. On here, I'm going to go with the warp tool, and I'm going to move this bottom bit up a little bit. So that's about where it was on the guy's arm. And then I'm going to go back, and then adjustments are reflected in the model. So what I'm going to do now is give myself some mental notes of the areas I need to work on, or I want to place ideas. So for example, basic shapes of the arm, the shoulder, the tricep, where it flows, any areas like here that I think will need a bit of attention when you're doing the cover up. So from there, you may want to create another layer, go find some images. Let's find something that might fit. Let's copy this canvas. Copy canvas. Back to your model. Paste it in. Let's have a look. Okay, so we're going to do a quick leg sleeve. I've prepared some quick standard images, the sort of thing that we all have to do. So first of all, I'm going to open up the leg. Before we do anything, I'm going to create a new layer, and I'm just going to do some notes. So from here, let's make everything to black. I'm just going to quickly sketch down the areas. So I'm going calf, knee, the floor down the quad, behind the knee, and the bum. And all they are is just so I know where I'm placing the model. So now I'm going to go into layers again. I'm going to create a new layer. And then I'm going to go back up here to the 3D section. I'm going to show 2D texture. And my guidelines are there. So now I know which way the tattoo is going to flow and which way the image is going to sit. I'm now going to paste in an image I already have. And I think I need to flip it. Yeah. And because it's within the boundaries of the UV, I can now see how this is going to fit. So if we do that, we might want to go to warp. So all the tools that you have in Procreate are all there in 3D. Let's have a look, see what that looks like. Let's go back to 3D, turn it back from 2D into 3D, and straight away we have a placement of the tattoo. Like everything else in Procreate, if I create another layer, the one underneath, I'm going to go to another image. I'm going to grab, say, this one, turn off the background so I've just got the transparency. I'm going to copy the canvas. I'm going to go back to my design, making sure I'm on a separate layer again. I'm going to paste it in. And like before, we have the option of the projection, which I think works better if you're doing smaller elements and you can paste them individually. Whereas if you do the big one, it's hard to place them. So like for example, we might want to go and place that there. Or you might want to create another layer. And if we go back to 2D again, and paste in, now we can have a bit of fun with that. We're actually going to switch off the other one, I don't like it. Cool, let's get it. Let's turn it black and grey to match everything else. And just take the saturation down. I've got all the different capabilities I have within Procreate. Yeah. You can either go black and grey or straight to black. I quite like that. I'm going to go back to 3D, and straight away you have a placement. You can go back to your original image. I'll do this within 2D. Let's go to our layer. Let's get our original angel. Might want to move her, make her bigger. From there. Go back to 2D, and all them changes are there. So this is a demo of what I originally intended Design Thru Chaos, its use cases to be, and that's to create tattoos that haven't been done or ideas that haven't been done. So taking images that have got nothing to do with tattooing, like from nature, abstract, anything, just, and then throw them at the model and then find little things in there that would make a good idea. It might not be a whole tattoo idea you get from it. It's like looking at clouds and you'll see a little idea. Write some notes down and take that on to another tattoo in the future. So let's have a quick go, see what we can come up with. So I'm going to open up an image, which I've just grabbed off the internet. I'm going to copy it, go back to the arm, and before we do that, I'm just going to make a couple of notes to myself because I'm old and forgetful. So straight away, let's use a bright colour. I want the floor to go down here, elbow, wrist, there, the main bicep, inner arm, just the general floor. I'm going to put in top shoulder cap, just so I know when I'm placing the models in the 2D side where they're going to go. So from there, I'm going to create a new layer. Then I'm going to go and grab an image, go back to my image, making sure I'm on a separate layer. I'm going to do all of this in the 2D side, mainly because it wraps a lot better, it's not projected, and you can't really see the results till you go back, which sort of helps in the design. So there's my notes, there's my image. I'm then going to paste my image in, stick it there. I'm not bothered about the other stuff because we're just trying to create. I'm going to go back to 2D and see what we get. Oh, first time, straight away, there's a cool idea. I'm very happy. I'm going to create another layer of notes. I'm really liking this section, and these here. I'm going to go back, maybe 2D. I'm going to go onto the layer. Let's flip it. Let's just see what it looks like flipped. So I think that might work quite nice into the ball of the arm. Let's go back. It's got some elements I like, some elements I don't. Okay, I'm going to try another couple of different ideas, see what we'll come up with. The beauty of it is that you're not actually tattooing anybody, so you're not damaging anybody's skin. This is all in your own time, all these ideas. So what we're going to do is going to play with it a bit more. The beauty of it is it's non-destructive, so you're trying all these ideas on a virtual person without having to damage anybody else's skin, so you can play as much as you want, change as many things as you want. I think most of the times when we're tattooing it's permanent, so you've got no play, you've got no experimentation, and it is very hard to find a client who trusts you enough, which we've all probably got them, but this just gives you that ability without actually tattooing. So let's go and see what this comes out like. I'm gonna play around with it. So now, even just from that, I'm liking this shape that we've got here. So I'm gonna find I'm liking these shapes here. The beauty of this is what we don't have in real life is we can undo. Let's go back a little bit further. And even if you get the chance to draw on people, which I have all through my career, they're having to wait a long time. You're eating into the session, and you're paying. They're paying for your experimentation. Here, it just lets you get that at home, because your first idea isn't always your best idea, as I found out. We'll always come up with it. You'll always look at a tattoo and go, could have done that better. So yeah, I could maybe just do a slightly smaller one, make that a bit bigger. It's like bone. So straight away you've got a nice little layout. Right, now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go on a layer below. I'm now going to go and randomly grab, try that. I'm going to copy canvas. I'm going to go back to my design. I'm going to go to 2D. and I'm going to paste it in. And as I say, don't know what you're going to get. Play with it. Let's have a look. Quite liking these tones. Feels wrong, so let's try horizontal. Yeah, straight away I'm actually really liking the hand area. So I'm just going to go in and get rid of these bits. Clean a few things up. So this flow here I really like. So that works, and it's all accidental. This bit here, around here, I think needs extending, and carry on that maybe with some additional spikes. Be cool. Every now and again, it's worth just messing around with your layers. You know, like you do in Photoshop with the different layer modes. So I'm going to just grab that, I'm going to put it above it. Let's have a look what that looks like. Yeah, I mean, there's ideas in that. Like from that, take some screenshots, write some notes. There's ideas in there. And then we can go back to what we were originally doing. And put that there. Let's go into, let's tidy a few things up. Now you can go in with your pen and pencil and start drawing. And then you can go in as much as you want, tidy things up, start adding bits. Probably the worst pencil ever. So this here is my ideal use for what we originally intended Design Thru Chaos to be, and that is just plain doing the stuff that you would like to do on a client, but experimenting on stuff like this is so hard, and this will speed up the design process, and yet how you evolve as a tattooist massively, save you years, give yourself so much more creativity. So I mean, very quickly, I'm just going in with all the tools you can use on Procreate and all my brushes. Play, be creative, find your own style. Don't be generic. You know, if you're going to be a Japanese based tattooist, don't be a copy of everybody else. If you're going to be a bio artist, don't be a copy of everybody else. It's okay to be inspired. We all are. I mean, all the great artists are. But if you want to be different and stand out from the crowd, you have to come up with your own ideas. And the thing is with technology and the iPad, I think the iPad's a brilliant tool. I helped bring on the digital stuff into tattooing, and then obviously people like Tattoo Smart have took it on to a bigger level. But what you haven't got to forget is the iPad's an amazing tool, and you can do things like this, but it's not a substitute for learning to draw. I know there's a lot of tattooists out there who seem to think they're amazing artists but can't put pen to paper. Get out there, do some drawing, and then use tools like this to just create some cool ideas. I mean, I wouldn't spend too long on an idea. Get it, move on to something else, start another idea. I mean, very quickly we can save this out. Give us black. Give us that. Don't let the tools rule yet. Practice makes perfect. I mean, but inspiration doesn't last for long. It's only a couple of seconds. And all these bits we found in here were all accidents. Have fun spotting them. Yeah, gonna call it a wrap on that one. This to me was good fun. I've got to create something that might have took a year to do on a client if I could persuade them to have faith in letting us to do it. Now you can show this to a client and go, what do you think? They might want to change things, but it's took us 10 minutes. I could come up with another 20 designs sitting there on a Sunday afternoon watching Netflix. Use the time to be creative. Anyway, I hope you have fun.